Hello, today is October 13th, 2022, and it's time for a new stock pick video. As always, I'll review the performance of my picks from this time last year and then proceed with a short market analysis and some new recommendations for the next year. So this time last year, I picked Hooligan Locky, symbol HLI, which was down 17.2% in US dollars, including dividends. Quest Diagnostics, DGX, down 10.2%, and Tourmaline Oil Corp, up 66.2% for an average of 12.9%, which compares with the performance of the MSCI World Equity Index of down 20.2% in US dollars, including dividends, as represented by the URTH ETF. As we all know now, we are looking into a potential recession for next year. We have high inflation, and central banks around the world have been raising rates to fight that inflation. And under these conditions, the number one advice that I've had for people since, I guess, the beginning of this rate cycle has been to not fight the Fed. So we'll continue with that theme. But my sense is now that we're getting closer to the end of this rate hiking cycle, as asset prices such as stocks and real estate have come down, commodity prices have come down, inflation hasn't, due to the more sticky aspect of things like rents and wages and homeowners equivalent rent, and so that will take a little bit more time. So with that in mind, we're gonna stick to quality, recession resistant type businesses, a decent dividend yield for the most part, and then perhaps throw in a stock to take advantage of the time when central banks pause with their rate raises, as at that point these sort of stocks, the quality stocks, will stop working as well, and stocks that have been beaten down more will work better. Stock pick number one, Imperial Brands PLC, symbol IMBBY. The world's fourth largest tobacco company. Business is maturing, everybody knows that. It has been for the last 2 decades, but it's fairly stable now. The valuation is very good. They pay a decent dividend, and this sort of business is less affected by economic cycles. So it's a good one to hold while we're waiting for conditions to improve. So that's stock pick number one. Don't fight the Fed. Stock pick number two, another recession-resistant type stock, a pharmaceutical company. Again, people don't cut down on the prescription medications regardless of the economic cycle. So these sort of businesses tend to be less affected by economic cycles. And the large cap pharmaceuticals, they pay a decent dividend. Valuations are never particularly good, so not ideal from that perspective. So we're never going to make a huge return on them, but they're a good stable thing to have in a portfolio, in a well-diversified portfolio. So my pick here would be Merck, symbol MRK. and the reason for that is the dividend yield is stronger, and I think the products that they have are kind of more stable perhaps than others. And my third pick, that would be for the time when the Fed pauses. We don't know when that's going to be, because it could be in 3 months' time, it could be 6 months' time, it could be earlier. Barrick Gold, a gold miner, the second largest in the world after Newmont. Gold miners are producing gold these days at approximate cost of $1,000 per ounce, or a little bit over, even with inflation at call it 8%, and their costs rising. They have essentially a license to print money, because gold at $1,650 or $1,700 or $1,500 is high enough, the price that they're making money. Now, of course, while the Fed is raising rates, the U.S. dollar is strengthening, and people have an incentive to hold short-term treasury instruments and money market funds and things like that pay a decent interest, as opposed to gold that pays nothing. So we don't expect the price of gold to go up until the Fed hints at pausing with the interest rate hikes. And the US dollar, conversely, will keep going up until that happens. So this won't be a great place to be in while this is happening, but at some point that will reverse. And because you can't know when that is, you have to be diversified and be there ahead of time. You can't possibly time the top or the bottom of any particular move. So we need to be there ahead of time if we want to participate in a reversal of what's been happening for the last, let's say, 9 months or so. So Barrick Gold is my pick for an offensive position for when the Fed pauses. As always, if you'd like a second opinion on whether these picks fit in your already hopefully well-diversified portfolio, or if you'd like any other investment advice, please give us a call. Thank you. Have a great day.